This is Coach Williz on here once again, y'all. Be easy. What's going on, y'all? It's Coach Williz, and once again, we are back on here to give y'all a word. If I could be me, what would life be like if I could be me? Having the time to do what I wanted to do, or the ability to fulfill the thoughts living in my head? I write with the plans of stopping myself to think about what I would do if I could be me. Before you even answer that question, we must first ask, who is me? And I write that when I say who is me, I want you to understand that most of us go through life and we don't really ask those questions, who am I? And if we do, we always attach it to something else. As I went a little bit farther, I said, as I have grown and branched out a little, I noticed that I was limited to nothing by my limited thinking. Putting myself into this box of I couldn't really grow because I was only able to do what I always knew. You can't do better if you don't know better. And if all I know is east side of Oklahoma City, then I really can't branch outside of the things that I don't know outside of what's going on in this inner city. It's going to be hard for me to branch out and get to those places that I want to be in my life. It's going to be hard for me to see more to the world than what it's offering in that moment, in that time frame. And I'm going to be trapped into thinking that this is all life has to offer for me. It's all these things that we get put into our mind thinking that we should do this just because this is what our environment has always told us that we should do. This is what our environment has always introduced to us. We haven't taken the time to think, maybe I could do this or maybe I could do that. No, I've always seen this, so therefore I think that I should be doing this. There's more to offer in this world if we would take the time to think about and imagine life outside of what we see. I also put in there that it's not that we need to break the box that we're in. We just need to open it and see what else life has to offer. We just need to open it up and see what else life has to offer. I love speaking and writing because those are things that allow me to escape Oklahoma City. Not meaning that I left the city, but I left the mindset that kept me trapped in the city. I love personal development because it allows us to develop ourselves into better people. And I continue to say a nation only grows by how strong the people living in the nation are. I learned that first from Elijah Muhammad when they talked about a nation and they talked about a family. A nation is only as good as the families that live within the nation. I was listening to this YouTuber named Clark Kegley, and he said, when we consume too much education without doing anything, it becomes entertainment. My belief is that people are thinking that they are working on themselves. We are not doing anything at all. Reading books are great, but unless you are taking action on those books, you're doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? We're doing nothing if we don't take action on those books. If we don't take action on the things that we're taught, the things that we see, the things that will allow us to expand and grow ourselves, we're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? If we would get more into our imagination, if we would go more to that nation, go more to your imagination, you will be able to see more things outside of your individual nation, the life that you currently live, the life that you currently see. There's more to life than offers and what you see outside of your inner city, your state, even maybe even your nation. There's more things to offer out there that maybe you could be good at, you could excel at, and you could do. But a lot of us limit ourselves because we don't allow ourselves to expand. We don't allow ourselves to grow. We don't put ourselves in situations that don't always revert back to what we've always known. That's what I'm saying. Who is me? Who is you? And I know that's not proper English, and I'm not here to break all that down. But who are you? Have you thought about yourself in the position that you're not in at the moment? Have you thought about yourself to be more than what your city has always shown you to be? Have you thought about yourself to be more than what your friends have always thought you to be? Have you thought of yourself to be more than what everything right now that you see has to offer? There's more to life than it. And see, when it came to me, when I was growing up, I wasn't introduced to a lot of the things that I see myself doing today. There's way more to offer because when I was first growing up, it was all sports. So since everything was sports, all I thought that life was always going to just be sports. This is something that I could see myself doing. This is something that I want to do. And this is something that, you know what I'm saying, it makes me happy. It makes me happy to do it, whether others approve of it or not. I was listening to this interview with Metro Boomin, and he wanted to be a rapper when he grew up, but he couldn't always tell his family that he wanted to be a rapper because, when people associated with you being a rapper, pretty much that it was like, why don't you just go get a real job? So he started telling his family, I want to be a music producer. Now, you know, he is a music producer now, but at the point, he just wanted to tell them that because they wouldn't agree with what he actually wanted to do. You know, maybe you may have to word it around. Maybe you may not have to even tell people about what you want to do. You know, J. Cole said, you know, how are they going to kill your dreams if they don't know them? You can't allow somebody tear you down. You can't allow somebody to keep you from elevating. That's what a box is. It's something that keeps you from elevating. It's something that doesn't allow you to grow. It's something that doesn't allow you to expand. It's something that doesn't allow you to become more than what it has to offer. That box is like, I'm limited. I'm trapped in this box and I can't grow out of this box. I can't see out of this box. I can't expand out of this box. I'm in this box. So you got to be willing to say, how do I open this box and see more about what's out here? Have you ever thought about being an investor? I just heard this thing about called an activist investor. An activist investor is somebody that they take their investments and they use it in a way to where they can gain a certain stake of the company, a certain percentage of the company, and they can change the way that that company operates to help it become progressive. So it's like what Shaq did with Papa John's. Shaq got a certain percentage of Papa John's, and now you see Papa John's is not what it was before. You remember black people wasn't really messing with Papa John's because of what happened with the CEO at the time, the words he said about it. But then Shaq comes in, he buys that company, turns it around. Now he's giving discounts. He's helping people out with it. So it's ways that we can get into things and we can change them. But see, I would never thought about becoming an activist investor if I had never done reading and if I had never like branched outside of Oklahoma. If I hadn't went to go learn from somebody that doesn't live in Oklahoma. They have a different mindset than what I have. You got to be willing to learn from individuals that don't talk like you, they don't look like you, they don't walk like you, they don't do the same things you do, they don't believe like you, but you have to be willing to learn from these individuals because sometimes you can take things that those individuals teach you and you can bring them back to your own individual life and they can help you expand, they can help you grow. So you got to take those things, you got to learn from them. We cannot get so caught into our own beliefs because sometimes our own beliefs can be our own demise. Sometimes your own beliefs can be your own demise. Look at this, man. I put this here. My belief is that people are thinking that they are working on themselves. We are not doing anything at all. Reading books are great, but unless you are acting on those things, the book said it does nothing. Praying is great. This is all for my people that believe in God. This is just what I want to. Praying is great. But if you are not believing that what you are praying about is going to happen, then you are wasting your time. This is another one. Watch this one right here. This is all of us, whether, you know what I'm saying, whether you believe in God or not. This is one right here. Overworking can be a cop-out of getting something productive done. So you can be saying, I got all these things to do, and you just working. You just doing all these extra things. But unless you are doing the things that actually are going to lead you in the direction to where you can grow, to where you can improve, to where you can actually sit down with yourself, figure out who you are, figure out what you want out of life, and develop this vision and do what it takes for that vision to come into reality, then you're doing yourself no good. You know, you're doing yourself no good. You have to be willing to say, I'm going to get this done and this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to try to work around this thing and say that I'm doing all these extra things when that has nothing to do with anything. You know, that I'll give you an example from my life. So I just started this class and we had to do an introduction video for this class. I went all out of this introduction video because, you know, I do videos and I do stuff like that. So I went all extra out of this intro video when it really didn't mean nothing. He asked either we could write a few paragraphs about ourselves, we can do a short video, you know, to let people know who you are, or, you know, you can just submit it with a few paragraphs like I said. But I went all out for this video. I was putting subtitles on my videos. I was putting the links for my Instagram. You know, you can follow me at Coach Williz on Instagram. I was putting for the Be Eazy Show. The Be Eazy Show is a podcast that me and my homie Zyler do. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe on there. I'll put the links in the description box. But it's things like that. I was putting all these extra things into this introduction video, but that had nothing to do with getting the work done for the class. You know, I could have just wrote those few paragraphs, wrote those few paragraphs and got straight to getting the work done in the class. Doing the actual assignments that's actually needed to go towards my overall grade. doing the quizzes, getting those type of things done, instead of I'm just doing all this extra work, thinking that I'm doing the work that's necessary for the class. You know that you done found yourself doing filler jobs because you don't actually want to do the thing that's necessary. You don't want to get to the pain point, so you trying to work around the pain. You trying to pop on the leave because you don't want to actually do the things that it takes to actually get this pain out of your body. You just want to do the cop out. You just want to go around it instead of going to the actual point. So overworking can be a cop out to getting something productive done. Pay attention to that. When it comes to finding out who you are, it's going to take some times where you got to sit down by yourself. It's going to take some confusion. It's going to take some going, and you going not really know where you at, but you got to keep following the course. You see, that's what the Bible says. The vision is yet for an appointed time. So you got to be willing to understand that your vision is eventually going to come, but you got to be willing to do the work necessary so when that vision does come into fruition, that you are ready to take full advantage of it. But you got to be doing the work. You can't be beating around. You can't be you can't be overworking yourself thinking that you're actually doing some type of work. I want you to understand that when it comes to your vision, that you have to do that because that's what you believe that God is placing in your heart to do. You cannot do it because you want to please people, or you want people to approve of you, or you want people to be happy about what you're doing, because that's not really what's going to happen. And nor is that going to fuel you to keep going, because when you don't get those applause at first, when you don't get that approval at first, when you don't get that hype and everything, all people feeding into it and they supporting your business, when you don't get that stuff up front, you still got to be willing to show up every single day and do the work that you're supposed to do to get to the place that you're trying to get to. You understand what I'm saying? I said, do not let people being pleased with you be the driver in your vision. The only thing that should satisfy you is that you are fulfilling the calling God has placed in your life. Because the vision is yet for an appointed time. I need y'all to understand that. The vision is yet for an appointed time. So you got to be willing to do the work necessary to get to the place that you want to get to. But you cannot get caught up in the hype. You can't get caught up in the likes, the comments, the subscribers. You can't get caught up in none of that. Because this work that you was called to do, everybody may not approve of it. They may not support you. They may not believe in you. They may not be pleased with you. They may not give you any hype. They may not do none of that stuff. But if you strictly feed your vision off of them approving of you, you're never going to get anything done. And sometimes when it comes to figuring out who you are, sometimes you should start with helping somebody. I said, you should look for things that allow you to help somebody, right? No human is an island. We all need people to help us overcome things in life. We all need other people. So no matter what, there is going to be something that you can do to help somebody get to where they're trying to get to. You can be somebody that helps them find that direction. You can be somebody that helps them gain that place of sleep. You can be somebody that helps them have that vehicle to drive. You can be somebody that gives them that inspiration. You can be somebody that gives them that teaching. You can be somebody that helps them with their entertainment. No matter what it is, you can be somebody that helps somebody, and that could be that fulfillment in life. And you don't do it just because you want their approval, you want their applause. You just strictly want to help people because that's who you are. You have that service at heart. And it's like, even if you're doing something for somebody else, it's not that you're seeking their approval. You know, I watch a lot of videos on Instagram and stuff, and the video may make me feel good, but I don't always like it. But that doesn't mean that I didn't like the video. That don't mean that the video didn't help me. That don't mean that I didn't gain something from the video. I just, I may not have liked it, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, you can understand that what that person did, those books that I may read books like these, I may pay attention to all different type of like speakers and stuff. I may not always buy into their course. I may not always go extra and further than just reading their book. I may not do all that, but that doesn't mean that the book didn't impact me, their speech didn't impact me, or just the life that they lived didn't impact me. You know what I'm saying? It was meant for somebody else. Metro Boomin also said in that interview, he said that music, you got to take your ego out of the music because the music is not just about you. It's not just about you. So you got to be willing to take your ego out of it because you got to understand, looking at the bigger picture is understanding that that's me helping somebody else. That's the bigger picture. It's not just about me being great, but it's about other people being great. I am not telling anyone to get into my shoes. I wrote this. All I'm saying is that you have a future, and that future includes a nation that is dependent on you to become yourself. Not even becoming great, but becoming yourself. How many of us focus on trying to be the best at whatever we do? And I'm somebody I've told people, I want you to be the best at what you do. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be the best at, no. I want you to be the best at who you are. See, I don't always focus on being the best speaker. I don't always focus on being the best writer. I don't always focus on all those things. But what I focus is on living the best life that I can live. Being myself, being the best me that I can be. Whether that includes me being a husband to my wife, whether that includes me being a sibling to my siblings, or whether that includes me being a brother to my siblings, whether that includes me being a son to my parents, you know what I'm saying, a friend to my homies, whoever, whether that calls for me being a son of God, no matter what it is, I want to be the best me that I can be, and that will reflect in the stuff that I do. Because the way that I care about me, it will show in the stuff that I do. It said love your neighbor as you love yourself. Because once you love yourself, once you understand who you are, then you can be able to touch somebody and you can understand what it really means to love somebody else, because first you knew what it meant to love you. You knew what it meant to be you. So now you know that the work that you put into this is not just my work, but this is me. So by me being my best self, no matter what I'm attached to, no matter what I'm influenced by, no matter what I'm touching, it's going to be the best because I'm the best me I could be. So strictly by whatever room I enter, it's going to get better because I'm my best self. You know, but when we focus so much on trying to do the work, on trying to figure out what we want to do with our life instead of who we are in this life, you see what I'm saying? Not focusing on so much about what you want to do with your life, but who you are in this life. And you focus on being the best self that you can be, then everything else that you come in contact with, everything else that you find yourself being involved in or doing is going to get better. So you got to be willing to understand that it starts with you. Comment on it. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if it impacted you. Tell me if you think that, oh, this may be good for somebody else as well. And if it is, add them, tag them into this, you know, or share it with them. Once again, this is a word with Coach Williz. Until the next one, y'all. Be easy.